The monster my family lived with had rules. I was only 13 when I learned what happens when you break them. But later, he would confess that he just tried to run away and lost control, heady with the belief he'd escaped the Zolg and downtrodden by the guilt of what he'd done to us. Except the Zolg had followed him. Slowly and carefully and relentlessly it had followed. You can leave it behind for a while, but it won't be cheated, and somehow it finds its way to you. Even if you're on the other side of the world, it'll get to you, and it'll never take more than a week. James must have known that, but he tried anyway, moving from place to place and doing God knows what. He lived with that guilt until his death, even though I never gave his lapse a second thought. We were all just trying our best. I tried so hard to make him see that, to make him forgive himself, but there was nothing left for him except a dark spiral downwards. He'd brought habits back with him, and with little else to do, he let those habits grow into their own ugly monsters that rivaled even the Zolg. I still don't blame him. His suicide note was so rational, so thoughtful. He really had convinced himself he was doing us a favor, but the fact he died by pumping the Zolg full of heroin tells me he had other ideas. It was a good attempt, as far as ways to beat the Zolg go, and it was with great despair that I first saw his face and realized he hadn't won anything at all. No one will ever know exactly how it happened. The Zolg, at least, spent 4 days crying in a cupboard, but James died nonetheless, and it didn't look like he'd died in ecstasy. His eyes were hollow, his skin gaunt and leathery, and his jaw had dislocated in a scream so terrible you could fit an open hand in his mouth. However the Zolg had twisted and reinterpreted the poison in its veins, what fell on James looked a ritualistic murder gone wrong. Like a possessed corpse had gotten trapped in a box and left to rot while the demon within raged and bent its host in terrible spasms. I didn't even tell Mom the details, but I have to guess she knew, even if she was barely present by that point. In her sunken eyes and loose skin, I saw a pale reflection of James, and came to accept that even when the Zolg doesn't get its way, it still doesn't lose. Follow for Part 7.